Oh man, it's been a long
Hello
week.
and welcome back to Pixel Street Videos. Today, me and Will are going to be reviewing episode 6 of the Halo TV series. This episode is titled Solace. We definitely just recorded a solid 4 to 5 minutes, and I forgot
Hmm.
to hit record, so we are doing it. We're running it back, as the kids say.
Yeah.
To summarize what happened last episode, episode 5, Quan and Soren are in the
Hmm.
desert. Um, Quan ends up holding a gun to Soren's head. That's the last we see of them.
Yep.
Um, the UNSC are on the Chief's home planet trying to harvest the second relic that they found.
Hmm.
And the Chief touches it, and then it alerts the Covenant of its location, much like the ring wraiths in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, actually.
Um, and so now they're coming, and they get there, and we get a pretty sick action scene. Me and Will both agree it's the best action scene in the show so far.
Easily. Well, it's
You
only the second one, but
yeah,
yeah.
the second one
But yeah,
aside from the
still,
one
still
right
good.
at the beginning.
Right.
Um, but yeah, in that kind of brings us to the conclusion that it was the best episode of the series so far. And that brings us into episode 6, right?
Hmm.
End of episode 5, the Covenant take the relic and leave. So yeah, episode 6 will overall blanket statement of your review for this episode without
Nope.
spoilers.
Without spoilers, it is without action, unfortunately. Still another world building episode. There is one particular portion which we'll go into, and you'll probably see me rage out just a little bit. That I don't agree with their decisions on, and because of that one thing, this episode is very much a disappointment for me. As far as the story they're trying to tell, the world building that they're doing, it's definitely not the worst one they've had. There is some good tension between characters that is believable, um, but still, it is just that, a world building episode.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it's not a great episode just because it is all 100% lore and world building. Um, and yeah, overall, just pretty boring. Like, if you're not,
Mhm.
I'm thinking of it as from a perspective of like, if you're not a Halo fan, right?
Right.
This is going to
Yeah.
be a boring ass episode because you don't
Mhm.
understand half of the things that they're talking about. Um, and you don't understand the dynamic of certain people, I guess, outside
Yeah.
of what you've seen in this show. Um, but yeah, other than that, the whole episode takes place in the same place, which
Hmm.
was kind of lame to me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like I think I told you before, if we hadn't just gotten a combat episode last week, I don't think that I would have been much more negative on this episode than I am, and I'm
Hmm.
already being pretty negative on it, so that's pretty
Right.
telling. Um, so yeah, that is gonna do it for our spoiler-free review of episode 6, Solace. Let's go full spoilers, Will. Where do you want to start? There was a
I want
lot.
to. Yeah, there's a lot here. I feel like there wasn't as much story being told, but there was good tension in the episode. Let's start with the best part of the episode. No Quan.
No
Not
Quan.
one bit of Quan
No
in this
Quan.
episode, and because of that, I was able to actually kind of focus on the actual shit happening in this show. So that alone shows like her story does nothing for the rest of this series at all. That one factoid that she was not in this episode and that alone made it better, like more watchable as far as what was happening with the other characters, says it all in my opinion. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that they like the fact that we've seen Quan in every episode
mm,
until now made me think like, all right, she's gonna be in every episode this whole season. But the fact
yeah.
that they came out with an episode that has her not at all,
Hmm.
especially when you consider the fact that this whole episode takes place pretty much on like like are they on Reach at this point? I don't even know. Reach?
I
Or are they on a ship?
I want to say they are on a ship. I don't think they brought Mackie back to Reach. I feel like they wouldn't want to do that just yet, especially right after the Covenant just dropped her off back at
Yeah,
Erinnys.
I still like, even after watching this whole episode, I don't know like what her play is. Is she telling them that she escaped?
Hmm.
Like,
So it's still kind of up in the air for me as well. Like I don't know where she's actually going to go. I don't know if she's wanting to either a recruit Chief to come back with them and be blessed ones together, or is she trying to eliminate him and to make sure that she still has a place within the Covenant? Like
I think
if
it's both. Like,
mhm,
I think right now she's, because they have a conversation, right, where she's telling him like about how he is a blessed one and how they can find the ring together, essentially, right?
mhm,
And I think right now at that point she's trying to get him to, join her, and so that they can, find Halo, and I don't
mhm.
know.
Because he could be a powerful ally for them.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's known
exactly.
as the demon already prior to blowing up Halo. He's already been labeled a religious demon in their eyes. Um,
Yeah, so I think
one,
she's doing. I think she's trying to get him to join them, but
mhm,
then as soon as she realizes that's not going to happen, that's when she's going to try and either kill him or act like she's on their side just to get
mhm.
info and stuff. I'm not
Yeah, she's
100%
got them
sure.
energy coke nails that she still needs to use on somebody.
Yeah, for real.
One little thing. At least the characters are kind of aware of how weird her situation is. Like the Marine that's guarding her uh, cell. It's more like she's in the
The
med bay
hotel
locked in
room.
there. Yeah, right. Is like these bastards don't leave survivors. She's one of them. Like the Marine guarding the door already knows she's up to shit. So I think they're treading lightly for obvious reasons. Um, but Chief goes in and talks to her because apparently she's telling all the doctors she's not going to talk to anybody but Chief. And to
Yeah,
me, that
which
is
is
already like if you're a character or
immediate,
like
immediately suspicious. Yeah.
red flags everywhere.
Exactly. That was my thought too. I was like, okay,
Mm,
like nobody's gonna, like, you're just gonna let Chief go in there with no armor on too. Like
mhm.
he just walked in there in his underwear pretty much.
Basically, his Commander Shepard outfit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then that's when she tries to, tell him about how he's a blessed one and so is she. Um, and that the Covenant, she was saying the Covenant were using her to try and find more info about where Halo is.
Mhm.
And where these relics are that they need to try and find it. Also, another weird thing that I thought just now is like, you tell me there's only two fucking relics in the whole universe?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's got to be
yeah.
more. Like, why are
And
they
they just
only
happen to
finding
be
these two?
on human colonies. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Something doesn't seem right there.
yeah, it's really strange, really
um,
strange.
as Halo fans, we know the Forerunners populated every habitable planet with their tech. Like they littered it across the galaxy. Um, so from a gamer looking in, we know like those aren't the only artifacts, but the show's making it seem like they are, which is kind of I don't know. We'll see what that actually truly does lead to, but
Okay. Another plot point is the Chief and Halsey, right? Halsey's in a
hmm
room, and the Chief walks out, pretty much disengages the door, locks the door so like Cortana can't open it, Halsey can't open it,
hmm
and is essentially set it to, like, I don't know what exactly, but like essentially kill her, like drain the
hmm
oxygen out of the room, or
it
I don't know
some
what it
kind of
was.
decontamination thing that was, I guess, a flaw within the system. Like it can't be overridden or whatever, and it's apparently it liquefied the last guy that actually designed it. Supposedly, I don't know. It was some
Yeah,
kind of weird backstory that basically just describes, "Hey, I'm going to lock you in this room with a timer on it, and it's going to go
yeah.
off."
And then he starts yelling like, stop me, Cortana, like
hmm
make me open the door, because he knows at this point that Halsey can control him in some way. He
Yeah.
just doesn't know exactly what that is. He's testing it to see if Halsey's gonna make Cortana have Chief, as weird as it sounds, she's gonna
Mm.
make Cortana have Chief, open the door,
Right.
against his
Take
will.
control of his body and all of his
Yeah,
actions, essentially.
and he finds out because that timer hits 0 that she cannot just control his body as a whole. She can only just like shut him down more or less.
Yeah.
Um, and then so he opens the door and saves her at the last second, of course,
Yeah.
because he's the chief.
Yeah. Just
Um,
rips the door right open.
yeah. So that happens. I'm skimming through the episode here. Hold on. Then we get some
You're good.
talk. We get some talk with the commander lady that I forget her name.
Oh,
Starts with an R.
Parangoski.
Oh,
No.
Parangoski. There you go.
Yeah. I
Parangoski,
think
and
her
she's
name's like
talking to,
Margaret.
and she's talking to like basically like Reach or UNSC like corporate more or less.
Hmm.
It seems like.
Right. She's talking to HR.
Yeah, exactly. And they're pretty much telling her like, "Yo, they're not happy with the way things are going. They need a scapegoat. They need somebody to blame, and right now that's
Mhm.
you." So that happens.
Then
This
they
is Chief
have
going to talk
probably the
to.
weirdest holodeck interrogation scene I've ever seen. Um,
Yeah.
I
So
still don't know the logistics of how, like, were they holograms? Was this taking place in the Matrix inside their head? Like, they were laying
no.
down,
So
like,
so,
uh,
so I think Halsey's being interrogated. So what happened is Parangoski, she's
mhm,
like, "Fuck this shit. I'm not gonna be the scapegoat." Halsey, she's been doing all this sketchy shit with the Spartans. She kidnapped all these kids, all this other stuff, and so
right.
she's using Halsey as the scapegoat now. And so Halsey is getting interrogated by some commander or something of
Mhm.
the UNSC, I assume. And I believe that they're in a room, but those four chairs where Commander Keys and Parat, what's her name, Peronsky,
Parangoski? Peronsky?
Parangoski are
Yeah.
sitting. I think that this is like their world's version of like a two-way mirror. So I think that they're using that so
Okay.
they can see in the room through these visions, kind of like of what's happening in real time. But I don't think Halsey and this other guy can see them.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's getting interrogated. They're questioning her about like her training methods, with like everything with the Spartan program, all this stuff, and she's just like Parangoski says, like she's smarter than all of us, so she's gonna get out of it. She's smarter than
Hmm.
all of us. Like her answers are too good. And then the chief comes storming in, pissed off, because why is he pissed off at this point? I don't remember.
He still is just so upset about finding out that she kidnapped him as a child and asked why, what happened to my family, what happened after Aridness when I was a kid. And she just goes full spoiler alert on him with every bit of detail. Like, yeah, we kidnapped you when you were 6. We cloned you with a clone that has defects. Shortly after we left with you, this clone started to die, and they just chalked it up to some blood disorder. And
Yeah.
to your family, you're dead. And we did it for the greater good. We didn't do it for because of our just bloodlust or anything. We did it because we wanted to do something greater, and the only way to do that was to be sketchy.
Yep. Pretty much. And then he asks like who all knows about this, and there's kind of like a silent pause, and Commander
Hmm.
Keys is like, "Oh fuck,"
Oh shit! Oh shit!
because as we know as the Watcher, Commander Keys was there when they kidnapped
Hmm.
him.
Yep.
But the chief doesn't know that, and she kind of like bounces around the question and like avoids answering it more or less
Yeah. And
because she
she
doesn't want
she
to.
wants to give him the some of the answers because she does feel bad, but she doesn't want to throw everybody under the bus just yet. She wants it to kind of just remain, keep the anger on me. It doesn't need to be on Keys or anybody
Oh,
else.
it's also worth noting in the middle of the chief and Halsey talking, Miranda Keys comes in the room and like
Oh
spies
yeah.
on them along with Commander
Hmm.
Keys and
So
Parangoski. So
she
she knows
she
what's
gets all
happening
the
too.
yep.
For the first time, that's when she hears it.
Hmm.
Um, so then the chief leaves and he kind of has like a little mental breakdown in a corner.
Hmm.
Pretty much tells Cortana to shut the fuck up, and then he goes in
Right,
the
and just gets on an
elevator.
elevator as if she's not in his head and leaves her on the outside of the doors. They shut and she just kind of like disappears. Like, gee. Chief.
Yeah.
She's in
And
your
then
brain, dude.
and then Chief goes and talks to Kai.
Mm,
I don't think that they say anything of significance because I don't even remember what they say. But I do want to say, at the beginning of the episode, Kai, she was fucked up at the end of last
mm,
episode. At the end of the battle, it was
mm.
really fucking cool to see like a Spartan
Just
oh,
like
like dying essentially, right? Like
right,
very
yeah.
very vulnerable, and that's
They hit
something you
her
don't see in the
with like
games.
4 doses of like morphine or whatever right
Yeah,
into her leg, and it took
because she was
that much to
screaming.
bring her down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, she did get to talk to Chief after that interrogation scene, and he did fill her in, kind of off screen filled her in, and she's
Oh yeah,
just
yeah,
like
that's right.
just as like shocked as he is. It's like we need to tell the others. We like they need to know. It's like in due time, I'm working on it, and that's
Yeah.
more or less how that scene ended.
Yeah, he pretty much said like we'll tell them when we think they're ready to know that.
Yeah,
Which is
when it
probably
when
like when they start questioning things too is when we'll tell
yeah,
them is how
I
the way I take it.
I do think that, or at least I hope, the other two, Vanek and Riz, do remove their little spine I need feelings
Yeah.
suppressor um, at some point. Although I kind of like Vanek the way he is, because he's honestly more like Chief from the games.
Yeah.
Just stoic, says a couple one-liners, and that's it.
Yeah. So to move on, Halsey then confronts Parangoski,
Hmm.
and Parangoski pretty much tells her like, "Yo, you're the scapegoat." And then two like security guards
Hmm.
come in,
They
and they're
haul
like,
her off.
you're getting locked up in your fucking your hotel room more or less,
Yeah,
whatever
you're
she
gonna go
lives
work
in.
off world in a new lab, but you will not have any access to anything, and Miranda is gonna take your place. We're gonna give
Yeah.
her the promotion you never gave her, or whatever that line was that they said.
Yeah. So Miranda is now taking over the Spartan program.
Hmm.
Um, and then it cuts over to I'm so bad at names in this. Miranda's talking to the girl from the Covenant ship. What's her name? Mackie.
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 Yeah.
Um, and you can see Mackie's back is all kind of like burned up and stuff. And
Hmm.
Miranda asks like, "Oh, did they do that to you?" And I think she more or less says, "Yeah, right." Like they were experimenting on her because
Yeah.
she is blessed, a blessed one, as
Hmm.
they keep saying in this show.
Yeah.
Um, hold on, moving on. The chief checks his vitals because the whole episode Cortana's telling him like, "Yo, you need to go to the medical wing. Like
Yeah,
you're
and
in
he's
critical
like
condition."
having a complete mental breakdown, and it's like filtering through his whole body.
Yeah. Another thing I thought was hilarious in this episode that we already passed it, but
Mm,
Commander Keys, beginning of the episode, is talking all cool, chill, and collected to the chief about what
mhm.
has just happened. The next time you see him, like 3 minutes later, he's like screaming at everybody, like he's screaming at people in the commander room, like, "You guys, trace that signal. We gotta find this. We gotta do that. We gotta go
Right.
now." It's like, where was your sense of urgency 5 minutes ago? Like right
Right.
after this happened, he was just like so calm talking to the chief. I don't know.
Oh
That just seemed
gosh.
kind of backwards. Like I feel like he should have been
Hmm.
doing that before he went and talked to the chief.
Yeah, that's I like that actor, but I feel like it's not a good representation of Keys,
Yeah,
because
I was
not
looking
that we
online
had.
on Reddit. Everybody's saying he's a mix of Keys and Johnson.
I can
He's a
see that.
mix of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. Because Keys was
Um,
very like almost corporate. Like he was commander. He was in charge. Now, granted, we didn't get a whole lot of Keys in the games. Obviously, just the few things in one, and then on Reach he shows up at the very end. But even so, he's got that presence. He's got that tone to his voice. Like he commands respect, and I don't really get that feeling from this actor. But it's a different timeline, different Keys. So I at least I like his character. That's important to me at least. It's not someone that I disdain in this show. So,
yeah,
but I think they want him to be at least somewhat likable because of how he meets his demise in the games, which I depending on if they actually go that route, we'll see, but
yeah. So Halsey's locked up right in her living quarters.
mhm.
And she's immediately trying to find a way to like break through the system to reach Cortana, right?
Mhm.
Because obviously Cortana can pretty much control the whole fucking ship if she wants to.
Yeah.
Um, And then you see Miranda Keyes. She goes into the lab, Halsey's lab, this, where she's doing all the Spartan research and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And she tries to access stuff, and then it says like, "Come see me," and she knows like, oh, Halsey has this shit rigged, so I can't
Mhm.
do anything if she doesn't want me to. So then she goes and sees her, and then Halsey tells this whole sob story about how like, you know, I I never wanted a family, more or less, right? Like, I'm
Right.
sorry, like, sorry we brought you into this world where I don't care
Mhm.
about you. Um, and then Miranda leaves, and then the creepy dude, her assistant, Halsey's assistant, comes out and's like, "Did you get a good look at her?" or something like that. And
Mhm.
then Halsey pulls
Pulls
out
out
like
some kind of right.
a contact that was like, it had to have been recording something, or maybe it like
Yeah.
got an imprint of her eye, like, some way
Ooh,
of
that's
using
a
DNA to
yeah, to like hack into the UNSC systems
yeah,
or something like that. So, yeah, I
that's
didn't
the
think
way
of
I
that. I
saw
thought
it.
it was a camera, and she was just trying to get some information out of her. Maybe I don't know, but like scanning the eye to then duplicate. Maybe that's well, that's sci-fi.
Yeah.
So,
And then they use that to then kind of tell Cortana essentially where they are, right?
hmm
And I think that's where it leaves off for Halsey.
hmm kind of. There's
Um,
we're getting to the part of the episode that I have massive disagree.
okay. So
Okay.
let's get there. So
Mm-hmm.
Mackie and the chief talk again. Mackie pretty much tells the chief like, "Hey, if you take me to the artifact, we can probably channel it together and see where
Mm-hmm.
Halo is." Or no, she said if we touch it together, it'll, like, if you hold on to it long enough, it cures you, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like she can tell that he's in distress, like he's not
Yeah.
feeling well, all this stuff. And so he says, "Fuck you, I'm gonna go do it alone." So he leaves her.
Basically.
So he leaves her, and then he gets Miranda, and he's like, "Hey, I think we need to go touch it, like, for testing purposes."
hmm
And then they go in there. She like wires him up, puts those little nodes on his head, and then he
hmm
touches the relic, and he just will not let go,
Yeah.
right? And then Halsey can like read his heart rate and all this other
hmm
stuff.
It's like hacking into their
Um,
vital section of that computer or something.
Yeah, and the longer he's holding on to the relic, the higher his heart rate's going.
hmm
Um, and obviously
His
that's not good
blood
because he could
pressure's
die
going
from that.
up, heart rate's going
And
up, like,
and
and
and,
he's
and
showing like
she's also monitoring Mackie's heart rate too, and she can see both of
Mhm.
them are going up like simultaneously.
Because as soon as he grabs onto the artifact, she starts basically having a seizure
Yeah,
right there, and it was right before she was going to use that nail to attack one of the orderly ladies.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
yeah, he's holding on to it, and then he's seeing more and more visions from his past.
hmm
It's rising. You think he's gonna die. Halsey thinks he's gonna die, and then it happens. Will they are
He they
dreaming that
his
they're on Halo
levels,
together.
yeah, they
Yeah,
have a
his levels
combined
drop,
vision. They both get in sync with Mackie's, like his heart rate and vitals are literally mimicking hers. Um,
and they lowered
and
like drastically.
yeah,
Like, he's not
like they're
panting or anything anymore. He feels fine.
mhm.
It's like
and
a state of zen almost.
exactly, yeah. And you see fucking Halo in a stupid vision, and the biggest missed opportunity that these showrunners had was they didn't even play any friggin' Halo music. Where are the
Yeah, they
monks
did.
chanting? No, it wasn't Halo music. They had the tune there, but they didn't have the damn monks. They didn't have any of Marty. Like, they could have just had music that was inspired by Marty, but no, it was just generic Zen music. And the camera just pans up and you see Chief, and oh, look, there's the Halo ring. Like, no, this is the worst reveal for Halo on Halo. Like, ugh,
It's a different
this is
timeline,
what
Will. It's a different
I know.
timeline.
I know, but this was such a huge missed opportunity or a misdirect. Like, this is probably the angriest I have ever been at this show. Like, I hate Quan, but I hate that moment more. So much. Like,
You hate that moment more than Quan.
I do. Just a little bit. Like, I hate Quan a lot, but like the way that they revealed Halo in this show, like, is a just huge fuck you to the fan base. Like,
To be
who is this
fair,
show for?
no,
Like,
hold on. To be
sure,
fair, that reveal wasn't like a full on reveal because you
I
can't really
know
see Halo. It's kind of like it's
it's
like transparent in a way. Like it's all
like
kind of
it's
fuzzy because it is a
distant
dream.
and yeah,
It's like some sort of dream.
the
Um,
saturation is kicked up on the camera. Like
yeah.
it's I get it, but like
Yeah,
I
but
was
the chief and Mackie are there staring at each other, and they're kind of looking at
mm,
each other like, "Is this real?" And they get closer to each other, and then it looks like the chief's gonna fucking kiss her, which is really weird. Like he like grabs her like cheek and chin.
uh-huh.
It's like, all right, if you were gonna see if it was real, you didn't have to like grope the woman, like you
Right.
didn't have to be all creepy about it.
The
But
show's
yeah, they
given
look
up a
at each
lot of
other,
rapey vibes.
and then like they realize like, oh shit, like we're both here together, we're experiencing this together, and then they start looking around, and then that's when you kind of see. I love the camera thing that they did with it though, where
I do too.
they look up the Halo ring. It's like
They
exactly
follow it
what,
around.
no, it's exactly what you do in the game. You look up, you turn the
Mhm.
camera around, and then you look
Yep.
down the other side of the ring. It was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we see Halo for the first time technically,
Mhm.
which is cool. It seems like it's the first time Mackie has seen it as well.
Mhm.
Like the
Like
expression on her
she
face is not like she's experienced that before.
mhm. And it's a point in like it's an important thing that they're seeing this vision because I honestly I want her arc to make that crossover to where she realizes the Covenant are bad. And I don't know
That
if
would
this
be
is
cool.
going to go in one direction or the other. I feel like it's going to go in an extreme in one way, whether she's going to be, all right, Halo's real, my religion is true, like screw humanity, well let's kill them all, or she's going to be like, holy shit, this is just utterly beautiful. Why am I attacking and like start siding with Chief maybe? I don't know. But I
Uh,
feel like
uh,
her arc is going to go in one direction or the other after this
nope.
moment.
Will, there's a third direction you're forgetting about, and that's the Quan direction. Mackey's gonna
Oh
join
god.
Quan and Soren. They are gonna take the Halo ring, and with that, we're gonna end this review. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Overall, I thought the episode was like like meh. It's a fine episode. There's a lot of lore
Mhm.
building. The coolest part was probably the last 5 minutes there, but it was
Yeah.
also, in your opinion, the worst part. So
It's a hot take
at the
for me.
same
I know
time,
I'm probably like just nerd raging at this point because I feel like this episode, or at least the series itself, I was probably painting it up in my head. Like, obviously, they're not going to show Halo until near the end of, or at least more than halfway through the season. And I was just in my head hoping for this just grand reveal, and instead, it's in a vision. They don't have the chanting monks that are associated with Halo. How we know Halo, like Halo music is
it's
just
iconic.
as important to Halo as the story itself. And the fact that they did the tune, they had the tune of the monk chanting, but I feel like that scene I wouldn't be as angry about that reveal if they had that iconic music.
I really hope that when they actually go to Halo at some point in this
Mhm.
show, whether it's this season or next, I really hope that they do knock it out of the park with the music for that.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that they're gonna get the rights to use like Marty O'Donnell's music or something. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not gonna be a spot on thing. But as
But they
long as
can
they,
get
like
like
you
the
said,
Halo Infinite music, which is heavily inspired by Marty's music. And Halo
yeah,
Infinite's music is on point. I got chills climbing to the top of the mountain, and you just start hearing the beautiful cellos and the monks singing, and like in the show, it's just completely absent.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
So
I'm just raging a little bit too hard on that. But that was a hot take. Hot take for me on that.
as we've been doing at the end of every episode, where after watching episode 6, Solace, do you think this season ends? You have 3 episodes left.
Mm. I think because of that vision, things are going to start amping up. I would hope so at least.
You think they're gonna pull a Game of Thrones on us, where like, you know, the last season of Game of Thrones, like like in 3 episodes is like 4 years. It seems like in the
You're
show just because
right.
of how fast it's going. It's
If
like
they do the entire Fall of Reach over the next 3 episodes, I will be
that
a
would
little
be insane.
disappointed.
That would be
Yeah.
insane. But like at the rate that the combat's going though, I could that seems possible to me because
Yeah.
like it seems like it seems like it was probably a lot of their budget to do these action scenes, right?
Yeah.
So if the next episode and a half is like combat on Reach, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like building up to combat on Reach for the first half of next episode, and then the second half of next episode, first half of the following episode is like
Hmm.
the fall of Reach. I could see that being the case because
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
each episode is what, 40 to 50 minutes long, give or take?
Yeah, something like
How
that.
long did it take us to beat Halo Reach? A couple
Like
hours?
3 hours.
So I think you're right. It could be possible. The story could be told in that amount of time. Maybe. I hope.
Maybe.
I want to see that because I feel like that would have been the better reveal for Halo is just like in the game, Reach gets attacked in an overwhelming force that they can't defeat. They flee on the Pillar of Autumn. Boom, Halo, credits. Like, I still want that to be the end of the season. I don't think
That'd be
we're gonna
cool.
get that though.
Yeah, I don't know. I still stand by the fact I think whether the fall of Reach fully happens, there is going to be a battle on Reach by the end of this season. I
Oh, I
stand by
hope.
that.
Yeah.
But like also I wish we knew when it got renewed for a season 2
Hmm.
because if it didn't get renewed, like if they didn't approve a season 2 until after this whole show was filmed, we would know like they're going to get to Halo this season, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that we're not even they don't even know where Halo is at this point,
Hmm.
it's hard for me to believe that they're actually going to get to Halo this season.
Yeah. Although, I mean, the way that they find Halo in core canon is them fleeing from Reach was an effort to draw some of those ships away so that they might stand a chance. And they jump into slip space at random in a random direction and just happen to find it. So I mean, like that's like the really cheesy
Yeah.
part from the game's story. But I mean, they could take a similar route to that, where maybe Aridness is well, maybe not Aridness or Madrigal. Maybe it'll be the fall of Madrigal, or the Covenant attack there again. Maybe I don't know.
I mean
Tie in
Madrigal
Quan again somehow.
I don't think Madrigal's as large of a place as Reach is though. Like Madrigal
It is
seems like a
not.
very small city.
Hmm.
Well, it's a planet, but the main city on Madrigal seems real small
Yeah,
comparatively. But yeah, that's going to end our review of episode 6, Solace, of the Halo TV series. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. And as always, stay tuned right here to Pixel Street videos for more podcasts, Let's Plays, fucking unboxings. Um, I don't know. That's all I got. We'll be back here next week with a review of episode 7 of the Halo TV series. We won't be late this time. Bye.
promise.